Hey there, YouTubers. I meant to do this last year and I put it off because I was lazy, and now I got my hands full with a bad case of rust repair. I'm ashamed of myself.
All right, that's a whole lot of rust on the battery bay. I'm gonna get that all cleaned out. And that is my battery shutoff switch. And it actually mounts here, but the post broke. So I'm gonna have to get creative. All right, so I took these off. The rollers for the tray, they just come off. And there's a washer. And the washer. All right, first things first is I gotta get the heavy stuff, the heavy crap off of there.
This is a process, a long process.
You get the idea. Go sure let this get out of hand. It's gonna take a lot of work. A lot.
This sander got a complete workout. I don't show you all of it, but there's a lot.
All right. This was not easy to get off of there. But pieces, parts. Okay. I got the spring and a nut. I'll clean those up. And I'll clean this up.
I literally had to chisel nuggets of rust off this pan. I used this dissolver, not what I wanted, but it's a gel that you put on there, and it seemed to work okay.
That wasn't the real rust dissolver that I wanted, this Rust-Oleum gel stuff, but I gave it a shot, and now it says to rinse it. So I'm gonna get the hose and rinse it. All right, here we go. You're just gonna get a second of it so I can get it. All right, it's rinsed. Now I gotta dry it. All right. Just clean my hands and all that. So we're getting there. It's gonna take more, but there's a lot off it. That's the tray. That's the can of pieces parts. And that's the battery bay. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna handle this shut off. I guess I could take it out, but I'm not gonna. All right. We will close this and I'll beat the rain. All right, that is this side after using this Rust-Oleum rust dissolver. Now I'm gonna put it on the back quite liberally. I'm gonna use this and try to work the gel in. I don't know how well this stuff works.
I turned to this wire brush sander on a drill quite a bit, and it does a good job.
We're getting there. GoPro, stop recording. It looks nasty, but a lot of the rust is getting off. Going at it with this old drill and wire. Trying to get as much of it off as I can, so that I don't have to do this all the time. I also went to the store. I bought some new parts, but I was gonna buy new stainless steel washers, and they wanted like $1.50 each for that size washer. So they're soaking in vinegar. And the first one I tested on it came out pretty good. So yeah, I know it's only like $6, but I'm not spending $6 on washers. That's crazy. I don't know how well you can see that, but that's the underside from underneath the RV. And I'm gonna hit that with a little sanding, and we'll try to paint that too. But I think my tray is good enough as it is. I think I got it as well as I should. And I think in here's close enough to being ready to paint. It's hard to see, it's dark, but I think I got that good enough.
Reminder, this sanding was over a couple days.
All right, since I have it, I'm gonna give it another coating of this gel stuff. All right, so I'm gonna hit this a little bit more. Not the good way to do it. rust coming off there. All right. All right, getting a lot of it off there. Second pass. I'm gonna sand under there with this, but you ain't gonna get to see it. All right, so I've done a lot of sanding. And I also got this scraper, put a new razor blade in it, so of course I cut myself. I'm gonna try to get some more of this paint off, this old paint. And it just takes time and patience. I've hit this with a lot of sanding. I've used that gel rust stuff twice. So I'm gonna go back at it a little bit more with the razor blade. Let's see what we can get off. Now, I think I do this a lot like when I'm hiking a trail, where I always say, okay, that's enough, and most people would be like, that's enough. But the more you get off here, the longer it's going to be before you get more rust. And I keep going, and I keep getting more stuff off, no matter how much I've sanded, all the junk I've used on it. Makes it hard to say, okay, that's enough, you know, because you can always get a little bit more. Now, and I really do know, if I was paying somebody to do this professionally, this would be more than fine. That they would get a good cover and I would never come back complaining to them. But my problem is, I just keep going. Sometimes that's a good thing. A lot of times that's a good thing. Sometimes it's not. Because the restorer and the dissolvers will do a good job, and then it'll come out looking pretty good, and it'll last a long time. But I always feel like there's that little bit more I can get off. I guess it's OCD-ish, right? All right, I've done a lot of sanding, a lot of wire brushing, a lot of getting stuff off there, and it doesn't look as pretty as it could, but it's in pretty good shape to be painted. I gave it 4 passes with this Rust-Oleum rust dissolver, and when I get ready to paint it, I'm going to use another kind of paint rust stabilizer and then another coat over the top of it, so hopefully it's not going to rust. But that's for tomorrow. It's getting late.
My advice is, don't be a dummy like me. If you see rust, take care of it. Don't put it off.
All right, I'm prepping for paint, and I just used some of that blue painter's tape around these posts. And those posts are where the tray sits on, and I want them covered in paint. Prepping for paint. And finally, a good use for plastic bags. That is the shut-off thing that I'm gonna have to try to figure out a way to mount that in there. I got a couple ideas. We'll see if it works. But that'll stop me from getting paint on it.
Broke away to take Vinny to the vet to get his diabetes tested, and his levels came down a little, but not enough, so we're upping the dose, and also having to cut his food way back, so he's not happy. And here we start with the first coat of the Rust Restorer, hopefully getting this stuff under control now that I've gotten most of the rust off it. It's a long process. I hope you enjoy.
That's the first coat. GoPro, stop recording. All right, there's a little less wind here.
Time to paint the bay.
All right, this would probably be better with paint than with this can, but you can try to do it. I don't think you're gonna get to see much because I'm gonna be in the way. And as much as I want to share this with you, I really don't want to mess up my RV, so. All right, that's good enough for the first coat. I'm gonna have to move that bag to do the second coat, or to do behind it, obviously.
I am finally starting to see progress being made.
Not too bad, we'll give it a little bit of time. Now I have some candles from the thrift store. Painter's tape around that bolt. All right, I turned the camera around because there's a little bit of wind and I don't want to put spray paint onto the camera. There we go. call that the first coat. All right, we're gonna do second coat. Should probably have a little mask on, huh? All right, I think that's good for now. Go. All right, second coat. Looks like the wind changed direction. Running low. All right, there is no good way to do this. So, since there's no good way, that's the way I'm gonna try. Going a little heavy.
Time for primer.
All right. Next, I'm going to use this Rusty Metal primer. Probably 2 coats of this. Here we go.
Again, my advice is if this happens to you, don't put it off like an idiot like me.
All right, so I inflated the air ride high enough that I had to get something else to prop this up. Okay. Shoot, I need my thing. Coat number 2. Coat number 2. Second coat.
Yay, finishing coat.
The final coat. I'll give a little bit more because I missed some. Okay, I'm gonna go underneath. Okay, that's 2 coats. I think that's good. Coat number 2. Final. Okay, all that's left to do is move that, finish the spot behind it, and flip that other piece over and give that a couple coats. Gotta let it dry.
The candles will help it from sticking to the cardboard.
All right, let that dry. GoPro.
So far, I really do think it's turning out pretty good. It should be protected.
All right, final coat. Okay, I think that's done. And the final coat here. I think we're done. All right, we're done for today. I will let everything dry, and then tomorrow I'll put it all back together. All right, it's all done. I'm gonna start putting things back together. This is the spring. This is the lever. I'm gonna use some WD-40 on the spring. I'll let it soak in that for a couple minutes. We'll be right back. Also gonna WD-40 up that bolt. Alright. There we go. Alright, that's in. That's where it goes. Now we'll put the bolt on. Alright, we got a new bolt. Hopefully the new bolt will fit. I kept the old one just in case. See how we do. Alright, that's pretty tight.
When I started, I literally had to hammer that lever up to open it.
That's good that it works again. Alright, now we're going to put this in the RV. Painter's tape off. There's 3. There's 4. Let me go get the pieces parts. Like I said, they wanted way too much money for new washers. So these came out pretty good, soaked in vinegar for a bit, and they just go on here. And then these, they don't seem to have a front or a back, and they just sit there. There's no pins or anything that go into them. And then we'll slide the tray in there. And I got an idea for this, but it'll probably be tomorrow or down the road. Well, I have 2 ideas. One is super simple and one might work. We'll see. Alright, now we'll put this tray in. Everything should go well.
At the beginning, it was literally a struggle just to get the tray out.
Rolls better than it used to. Now we're almost done. Alright, there's just screws that go on the back. Okay. Alright, that should be the stoppers. Close. Boom. Alright, took longer than it should have. This is still going to be a challenge to get this figured out. Hey, we're done. And that's how you clean that all up. I didn't really plan on the shiny high enamel, but I had it, so that's what I used. If you see that white, that's just some wax. Nothing to worry about there, but we'll close this. I'll latch it. We are good to go. So there you go, YouTubers. There's a project. Far too many steps. Far too much time. But I think it's gonna be a lot better. So with all the craziness still going on a little bit, stay safe and have a great and wonderful day.
Moral of the story, if you see rust, don't wait. It only gets worse.